If you're from New Orleans, you call this a Merliton. It's spelled Merliton, and in other parts of the country, it's referred to as a Chayote squash. Can you say Merliton? Instead of stuffing Merlitons this year, I am blackening Merlitons. I am gonna put this in and I'm gonna cook it until it is fork tender. I don't wanna cook this too much because when I blacken it, it will sort of fall apart. So I want it to have some al dente. When I put it in this hot pot, it is going to cook further, so it doesn't have to cook totally in the water. Instead of chopping up the shrimp for stuffing, I use smaller shrimp and use them whole. You can chop this up, you can put it in a garlic press, you could use a rocker, but I prefer to use this tool. We sell this here in the store, and I really do love it. There are several blackening seasonings you can use, but I like to make my own. It's basically paprika, salt, onion, garlic, cayenne, pepper, and herbs. I'm gonna go ahead and start sauteing the onions and the garlic. I'm gonna put this heat on low. I don't want any caramelization of this. I really want it to cook very low and slow. First goes in the onions. After they have cooked down a little bit, then I'm gonna put the garlic in. I do not like to put the garlic in at the same time as I put my onions because garlic cooks quickly. And if you ever ate something that had a garlicky flavor or a garlicky breath, it's because that garlic was cooked too long. I'm gonna put a little olive oil in the pan. I use olive oil. You can use butter if you like. I just have 2 vegetarians in the family. The center part of this pan is gonna be the hottest part of the pan. So I'm gonna sort of pull it towards the ends a little bit. This is the perfect opportunity to get something else done. So push your onions to the edges of your pan, and you can go ahead and do that load of laundry. So now that this has softened up a bit, I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic. This is what I do not want. You see how it's almost frying my seasoning? If I push it to the center, off the center and to the ends, it doesn't have that heat. So that's where I'm looking to keep that mix. So with the garlic, you can do the same thing. You wanna push that garlic to the ends of the pan, and you can go ahead and put those clothes in the dryer. So we're gonna go ahead and test these Merlitons and see if they're ready to come out. Normally, if you're stuffing it, you would want it to be cooked a little longer, but since we're going to further cook them by blackening them, we want the fork to go in and have some resistance. So we'll go ahead and dice these up. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the skin off. The skin will peel off quickly if you boil it first. I'm gonna go ahead and get that seed out. It's really simple once it's cooked. So I'm gonna go ahead and cube them up, and dice them up into little cubes. And I'm separating them a bit because I don't want them to further cook. If they're together, they'll steam and cook a little bit longer. So I'm just pulling them apart so they don't steam any further. I added my shrimp stock to my garlic and my onion, and I'm going to let that cook a little bit while I blacken the Merlitons. I like to use cast iron when I blacken, but at home I actually put this on my barbecue pit. I can get that heat up really, really hot, and all of that extra flavor, all that extra smell and goes into the air. I'm heating this pot up, no oil, no butter goes in there. Just trying to get this pot as hot as I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut a little bit of parsley in here while I'm waiting for my pot to heat up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put my shrimp in and let that cook slowly and bring it up to turn opaque. Just a little salt, just a little bit of black pepper. You can already see, even though this pan is on low, that the shrimp are already starting to cook. They start to turn pink a little bit, and that's when I know they're gonna be ready. When my pot is hot enough, I'm gonna go ahead in with my Merlitons. The way you can tell that your pot is ready is it starts to turn gray. I'm gonna put a high heat oil. Normally when you blacken, it calls for butter, but again, I'm dealing with a vegetarian in the group, so I don't use butter for that, for this dish. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in my blackening seasoning, and I'm gonna toss it all together. And you wanna be generous with your blackening seasoning. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start blackening. Before I knew better, I thought this was a Cajun dish, blackening, but it's not. It was just developed by a Cajun. So I'm tossing everything, and one of my little secrets I've learned that I really, really like, and it gives a nice crust, it gives a nutty, cheesy flavor. Even though it's not a true cheese flavor, it's more of a nutty, is I like to sprinkle a little nutritional yeast on the top. What I'll do is I'm gonna leave these last few here, not in the shrimp, for those vegetarians I talked about. Instead of stuffing your Merlitons this year, try blackening your Merlitons. You'll love it. This is Nita with a Snappy Creole cooking tip. Isn't that sweet? Wow, that's 2 snaps.